Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting momentarily. Let's see. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Our webinar will begin in just a few minutes. While you're waiting, feel free to review our program information at csudh.edu/ccteaching. Okay. For those of us that are just joining in, we'll be with you momentarily. We're just waiting for a few more attendees to join. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. We're going to get started now. My name is Anissa Barton-Thompson, and I'm the social media specialist for the College of Extended and International Education here at California State University, Dominguez Hills. I'll be your host for this presentation today, so welcome. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website shortly after the session and as well on our social media resources. Feel free to download the Community College Teaching Certificate Program Information Kit for details about the program, additional resources covered in the webinar, and we have a link for you specifically. It's bit.ly/CSUDH-CCTC-info kit. We've provided that link in the chat for those who are participating live, and we'll also be putting it available to all of the attendees in a follow-up email as well as on our website. Now, before we jump in, I'd like to review the Zoom controls. This session is being presented in a webinar format, so you won't need to worry about connecting your microphone or your camera. However, we do want your participation. So help us address your questions. Use that Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you're joining us from the Zoom desktop app or web browser, or in the top right of your screen if you're on a mobile device. As we are going through this, you can put your questions in the Q&A panel rather than in the chat panel. Now, in that chat panel, we're saving that for providing links and other kinds of resources. Once you click that Q&A button, a dialog box will open allowing you to type your question in. Our marketing staff members, Stephanie Bukian, Keith Otterberg, and our program assistant, Shirley Jones, is going to be standing by to assist and help with all of your questions. We'll be answering those questions at the end of the session, although often you may find the question you have has been answered during the program overviews. With that being said, let's take a quick look at our session's agenda. We'll begin by meeting our certificate faculty, who will introduce you to the program via an overview of benefits, expectations, and course details. Then we'll go over registration and login information and address your questions in our Q&A session. And now, to lead off our session, I'll turn us over to Dr. Rodger McGinness. Dr. McGinness, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rodger McGinness. I'm one of the instructors in the program. My educational qualifications include a bachelor's degree, 2 master's degrees, and a doctor of education from UCLA. I have over 40 years classroom and community college and university teaching. My professional work experience includes several years in financial sales and retail store management. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Baltazar will now introduce himself.
Ramon, you need to unmute.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ramon Baltazar, and I will be your instructor for GED 549. My background is basically in operations management for 30 years and transitioning into teaching in the early 2000s. I have a master's degree in business administration, and I currently hold positions in teaching in 2 local districts here, and currently the chair of business at Bethesda Christian University. And from this point on, we'll move on to Dr. McGinness.
Thank you, Ramon. Now that you've met the program faculty, you must be interested in the subject that you're qualified to teach at the community college level. To do this, we have to look at the disciplines list. The disciplines list reveals the minimum qualifications for community college teaching, counselors, and librarians. We call these the MQs for minimum qualification. The disciplines list replaces the old credentialing system. It is now obsolete. The key to your MQs is the exact topic that's printed on your master's degree diploma. Now, sometimes the topic printed on your bachelor's degree diploma will also help you get qualified to teach. Now, be careful. What's printed on the diplomas may not be what you think you majored in college. For example, I majored in corporate finance, but what's printed on my bachelor's degree just says simply business. So we'll give you instructions on how to research your minimum qualifications later in the program. Now, you may have earned both, either your bachelor's degree and your master's degree at a foreign university. This is not a problem. All you have to do is have your transcripts evaluated for equivalency to a U.S. degree from a U.S. institution. The state of California provides a list of agencies that are approved to do this evaluation. There is a fee for this, however. Now, after your transcript is evaluated and you know your equivalency to a U.S. institution, you can then go to the disciplines list and determine your minimum qualifications. Now, on the screen, you should see a poll we will use to determine your familiarity with the minimum qualifications, the MQs. The question is, how familiar are you with your minimum qualifications? The poll will be open for about a minute, so please enter your response right away. We'll give everyone a moment to answer the poll, and then we'll provide the results later on in the presentation. I hope everyone has had enough time to respond to the poll. We are now going to look at the program objectives. Mr. Baltazar will give us an overview of the program objectives as soon as he unmutes.
All right, here are the program objectives. The community college teaching admission qualifications are first. Okay. You meet the MQs in the subject you want to teach as specified in the discipline list. First, prepare students for the community college teaching and improve job readiness. This is the objectives. It provides solid understanding of the mission and function of the community college. It develops and enhances the instructional skills, techniques, and strategies for teaching at the community college. And then it provides advice and guidance for students in the teaching internship and search process. It also will support student candidacy with qualifications and recommendations for their candidacy. GED 549 is made out of 3 courses. GED 549, 2 units, the community college. GED 548, 3 units, it is the effective college teaching. And finally, it's GED 594, 3 units, college teaching internship, which is the independent study. Then moving on to the next area. Okay. The community college teaching certificate admission qualifications. First of all, let me qualify that there are some career technical education or vocational areas and subjects which may have other requirements, okay? First of all, you must hold a master's degree in the designated discipline. Secondly, you are completing a master's degree in the program. And then currently employed as a community college instructor. And moving on to the next is basically our first course, GED 549, the 2 units, the community college. I will be teaching this in the fall, and Dr. McGinness or a designated faculty will be teaching it in the spring. The GED 549 is basically an overview of history, mission, and the function of the community college, okay? And to prepare you for teaching, this is the main mission, and the admission requirements are the same as the employment requirements. Okay, excuse me. It's basically made out of 4 parts. The 4 parts are, well, we'll talk about history. We will talk about the students and faculty. We will talk about the structure. And basically, it is a bureaucracy and organization. We will talk about its organization and curriculum. And then let's move on to the schedule. Okay. GED 549 will start in February 1, 2022. It's 4 weeks. It will be online asynchronous. And the class expectations are it will be a weekly, made out of weekly assignments. Participation is required and only one absence is permitted. Now, I'm going to move it on to Dr. McGinness to talk about GED 548.
Thank you, Ramon. GED 548 is the effective college teaching course. This course focuses strictly on teaching at the college level. Our approach is to develop strategies in the 4 main domains of effective teaching: presenting the subject matter, interacting with the student, classroom management techniques and strategies, and instructor self-improvement. Specific techniques are developed in the areas of syllabus creation, textbook selection, lecture preparation, teaching style, assignment development, including exam preparation, conducting discussions in the classroom, evaluation of writing assignments, and handling student issues. The 548 course is scheduled over 8 consecutive weeks. It's delivered online in asynchronous format. Office hours are live on Saturday morning in Zoom. We also do individual teaching practice conducted in Zoom on Saturday mornings. Teaching practice is an integral part of this course. It is critiqued by your peers and concludes with your development of an improvement plan based on your self-assessment. Now, Ramon will talk about the teaching internship, the independent study course, which is the capstone of the program. Ramon will mute.
Ramon needs unmute.
The GED 594, which is made out of 3 units. It is an independent study internship supervised by a mentor teacher. At this point, I will be handling GED 549, okay, 594, excuse me. It is a semester-long job interview. It is also performance evaluated by myself or a designated faculty. And so we're going to move on to the process. First of all, let me make sure that you understand that this is a circulatory process. It is not linear, okay? So follow along with me. GED 594S, the search process. The student meets the state minimums, which is already an assumption by this point, okay? And will be enrolling in GED 594 and GED 549, 549 and 548, excuse me, okay? They begin the internship search. And while the internship search is going through, and while they're also going through GED 594 and 548, they are now looking for basically a college of their choice for a possible internship. The student contacts a mentor faculty, and the mentor faculty will either accept the student as an intern. Following this, the student informs the internship coordinator of the name, contact of the mentor faculty, course name and number, name and contact of the supervising administrator. which could be a chair or a program manager. Now, like I said, this is simultaneous also while we have already done this part, the student is preparing a 400 to 500 word statement of their teaching philosophy. And we will do that in class. We will try to practice that and write a draft of that in class. Now, also together with this, we have an unofficial transcript and a copy of their master's degree. That's a requirement, plus also 2 letters of recommendation. Now, this altogether is something that you need to prepare as we go on to the next process, whereby you're now going to move this body of material to the internship coordinator. She will now check or validate your application. She will prepare documents and contact the college of your choice where you will be doing an internship. Okay. The internship coordinator now will verify and communicate with the mentor faculty to verify that you are indeed going to be an intern, verifies the internship, and we'll move on to where the student now has permission. If everything is okay, your paperwork is okay, you now have permission to register for 594, okay? As you complete 594, you now have submissions also in that class. All your requirements are met, and this would be a process of about 45 weeks. You complete the internship, you now will receive, the student receives the community college teaching certificate from Cal State Dominguez Extended Education. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure you're going to have questions with the process, and you could later contact me with that, or we will have that in a later session to provide you with more information on this internship process. All right, with that out of the way, we're now moving on to basically how you can match your education to the requirements or the MQs of this course. Rodger?
Thank you, Ramon. You probably can see a poll on your screen, the results of the poll that we took earlier. The question is, how familiar are you with minimum qualifications? And we ask you to evaluate your own familiarity. 40% of you said, I'm not familiar at all. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. 27% said, I know what the MQs are, but I'm not sure where to start. 24% said, I've researched my MQs before, but I need some clarification. And about 9% said, you're familiar with the MQs and you're ready to jump in. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that you can find the MQs and do your research so that you're clear on what you're qualified to teach. When you registered for this webinar, you were sent an information kit. I want to bring your attention, you were sent it electronically. I want to bring your attention to that. Page 3 of the information kit, you'll see a clickable link for the current minimum qualifications handbook. When you click on that link, you might also see it in the chat session. When you click on that link, I want to bring your attention down to page 11 of the MQ handbook. So we've transitioned out of the information kit into the MQ handbook. You will see on page 11 something called the Disciplines Index. The Disciplines Index contains the disciplines list. Now, the disciplines list is organized in alphabetical order. Initially, it lists all subjects from top to bottom, A to Z, that are taught at the community college level. But I want to bring your attention Lower in the disciplines list, if you'll scroll down, you'll see that there are reorganized, realphabetized into 3 succinct areas. The first area is that for subjects or disciplines that require a master's degree. Or the second list is for specific bachelor's degrees or associate degrees with professional experience related to the subject to be taught. And the third area is any degree and professional experience related to the subject to be taught. So review the minimum qualifications and see which MQs you satisfy. Remember, what's printed on your bachelor's degree and master's degree are the key to your disciplines area column. Sometimes students come to me and say, I majored in XYZ. Well, what we have to go by is actually what's printed on your diplomas. Now, Mr. Baltazar is going to discuss some areas that are in the gray area that are subject to interpretation.
All right, thank you, Rodger. There are definitely some areas that probably will need a little more explanation. Now, we require a master's degree. Some of these examples are the JD degrees, Administration of Justice, where you're only required a number of experience. If you look at the table, okay, things like, for example, electronic technology, electronics, electroplating, emergency technologies, these do not have a master's degree. And they're considered in the area of what we call career technical education. You can still teach in community college, but this is a totally different area, okay? I just want to make sure that you don't really disqualify yourself yet when you are trying to get into these programs where there is no master's degree, okay? Now, moving on to the next area, Rodger.
Thank you, Ramon. You'll see down on page 27, I think it is in the MQ handbook, is the alphabetical listing of disciplines that require a master's degree. This is very important that there are also additional ways to satisfy the MQs using both the topic on your master's degree diploma and your bachelor's degree diploma. Now, for example, business, we see, I think you can see it on your screen now, will accept not only a master's in business, but also a bachelor's in business and a master's in economics, personnel management, public administration, or a JD or LLB degree. Now, let me just say that the doctoral degrees generally qualify you for all MQs, but we have to look at what's on your bachelor's or master's diploma for the specific area of MQs that you satisfy. Also, let me see if there's anything else I need to cover here. Sometimes individuals with masters in public administration can teach business courses if they have the proper bachelor's degree. Individuals with a master's in social work, sometimes we have to look at what your bachelor's degree diploma says to make sure you meet the qualifications in that area. Now, what I want to move on to is the actual requirements for being employed as a community college instructor. First of all, it's crucial that you pass the criminal background check. There can be no criminal convictions on your record. This is done through live scanned fingerprinting. Secondly, you have to be checked for TB. You have to have a TB test This is required by all teachers in California from K-12 up through the university level. And you also have to be eligible for employment. This verification is conducted by your employer when you're hired. Now, let's talk about the benefits of the program here at Cal State Dominguez Hills. This program is not an employment agency or a placement service. It's a graduate education program. You must find your own mentor teacher in a community college. The program doesn't qualify you for teaching. Only the MQs can do that. The districts that you're looking at to teach may also have additional qualifications for your eligibility. But there are a great deal of benefits of the program. First of all, you develop an extensive understanding of how the community college works. You develop your own syllabus for your course that meets state standards. You also practice your lecture style, and you've identified your teaching strengths and areas for improvement, if any. You've become aware of potential areas of problems of student interaction, both between you and the student and student-to-student problems. Also, you've completed a semester-long teaching internship, and you've networked with faculty in the department. In that process, you've developed a rapport with your mentor teacher, and you've established your credibility as a community college instructor. This will greatly increase your confidence in your teaching abilities, and it also makes you credible if there's a teaching position coming up in the future. Now I'll turn things over to Anissa, who is going to review your online access and registration details.
Excellent. Thank you so much to our instructors for a great overview of the program. And we're going to come back to them just in a moment to get into our Q&A segment. But first, let's take a quick look at the course delivery and registration details. So almost all of the CSU Dominguez Hills extended education programs have an online component, which means that students are assigned online access through our campus's IT services. Each student will need login credentials to access our student portal called My CSUDH. This portal includes Blackboard, which is our learning management system where the course content is distributed, Toro Mail, which is our Gmail-based student email system, and Zoom, which is our web conferencing tool, of course. These login credentials, which consist of your username, your email account, and password, are issued through our registration office approximately 2 to 3 business days after registration in your first course. Now, enrollment is available from our extended education registration office Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We highly recommend that you register early to make sure that there's space in the course and to allow enough time for course information and online access to be created and distributed. Payment is due at the time of registration, so you can pay for your courses either individually or for multiple courses all at once. The federal WIOA, W-I-O-A, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act provides funding through the California Employment Development Department for qualifying students who are currently unemployed or seeking career training. For more information, please email wioa@csudh.edu or visit our program website for more information. And if you need any additional financial assistance, please Google private student loan providers or connect with salliemay.com for student loan details. Again, we recommend that you register at least 1 week before the course begins and check your Toro Mail and personal emails frequently for special instructions and campus notifications. You'll also want to be sure to test your account access in Blackboard and get comfortable with the layout of the class, such as where to find your announcements, your Zoom meeting schedules, discussions, and the like. Let us know via our academic technology services if you're having any difficulty connecting. Now we'll get ready for your questions, and I see there's quite a few in the Q&A. We ask that you please, once again, if you have any additional questions, click on that Q&A button on your screen to ask your questions, and we'll go ahead and get started. And I know we have a couple of warm-up ones, but I definitely see quite a few of the questions in the Q&A are looking for clarification regarding the admissions qualifications. So quite a few folks have asked, do you need to be working in a community college already before you try to get into the program? Is the master's a requirement to be in, or do you already have to have it in place? So Dr. McGinness, if you can go ahead and just clarify those admission requirements again.
Okay. Basically, there are 3 areas that qualify you for admission to the program. The first area, if you've got an earned master's degree, that qualifies you. The second area is if you're in the last semester. Let me emphasize, last semester of your master's program, because this is a lot of work, and I've had a lot of students have to take extra time to finish the program in addition to finishing their master's degree. And the third area is if you're already employed as a community college instructor. Those 3 items will qualify you for admission to the program. Now, let me just say there's one more thing I want to say, and that is, if you have less than a master's degree in one of the areas listed in the minimum qualifications handbook, and you will be teaching a subject that is in those specific zones, send me an email with your qualifications and we'll talk about admitting you to the program. Once again, if you're less than a master's, but you're teaching in an area that does not require a master's, such as a bachelor's, a specific bachelor, a specific associate degree, or any degree at all, send me your email and I'll take a look at your resume and we'll talk about admitting you to the program.
Sounds good. Okay. Cliff Yanda asks a couple of questions, but I'm just going to address one at a time. What is the duration of time that is needed in order to complete all 3 courses?
I'll answer that, Rodger and folks. Okay. The duration is approximately 2 semesters, because GED 549, the first community college course, takes 4 weeks, and then the following takes another 6 weeks, 548. Now, the following is the internship, which will take a semester long course, GED 594. That one will take normally about 45 weeks, which is corresponding to a semester. So in totality, you're looking at about 1 year worth of time to try and finish the program itself.
Okay. And what advice do you give for those who wish to teach now with no experience? They may have the admission requirements, but don't have any prior teaching experience.
Rodger, would you like to answer that, or would you like me to?
We can both chime in on this. Basically, that's the major advantage of completing this program, because the teaching internship is a semester worth of being a student teacher, and that will qualify you as having teaching experience. Now, when you get in the internship, we want you to do as much as you can for and with the mentor teacher. Do the lecturing, proctor the exams, grade the exams, conduct the discussions. When you do the internship, think of it as a semester-long job interview. Wouldn't you say, Ramon?
Yes, I agree with that. The major, one of the major things that we try and give you in this program is structure. Everybody thinks they can teach, but to have some kind of formal training, formal background work, and we'll give you a little more structure. Also bear in mind, specifically with 54049, which is the community college. The community college, like any other bureaucracy, has their own rules, language. You're probably going to navigate a system, and it would be easier for you if you have some kind of background and basically how to do that, even in the application process, even in the interviewing process. It is now entering a new, let's say, in fact, we're really in an education industry, but it is actually a bureaucracy, a structured bureaucracy that you need to learn how to navigate. And that's what we're going to try and provide you, is the knowledge of how to get around the systems, who to contact, even how to, in fact, just the general formatting of your letters, and maybe, in fact, how to answer questions when you're faced with interviews, when you're faced with many of the things that they're going to be asking you in the internship.
Okay. And that final question from Cliff is, what is the current supply demand for community college teachers? What is the industry looking like right now, or the career field looking like right now?
Generally, there are a variety of openings, both part-time and full-time. Every year, as faculty retire, they move on. As curriculum develops and moves into new technology areas. So there's always opportunity, and probably one of the best ways, if you're looking for full-time employment, is to start as an adjunct instructor, a part-time instructor, establish your rapport with the college, the faculty, and colleges like to hire known quantities. They don't like surprises. And if you're a part-time faculty, you've established your credibility, you've got a rapport with your department chair, chances are a lot better that you might get the full-time position, barring any other variables. Wouldn't you say, Ramon?
Correct. Rodger, that really is the next few years, but long term. I'm going to be talking about long term. The surveys and general studies of this generation of millennials show that every 5 years, most adults will be looking for a new career. They're going to be moving from one area industry to another. And why is that? Simply because that's how industry is right now. They want more flexibility. They want to offshore. They want to be able to change and adapt to the marketplace. That's an opportunity for you right now, because there will be opportunities for re-careering people, a lot of new education, adults coming back into the workforce with a different goal. There's always an opportunity for people with the necessary background to retrain people. And so even as an adjunct, if you're coming from a different area, let's say private industry, there will always be someone that can use your expertise and be able to package that and market it in a community college so that they can facilitate this trend of retraining again.
Okay. We have a lot of questions regarding how to contact potential mentors or potential colleges. Is there a recommendation list or a list of schools that have been known to work with our student base? What is the process of helping the students to get connected with these different colleges?
Rodger, would you like to answer that? I can answer that.
Oh, yeah, we'll both chime in on this.
Okay.
Let me just say that if you're seeking a mentor teacher, look at the subject matter that you meet the MQs for, and look at the school that you want to teach at and the teachers that are on the schedule that teach that course. Those are the potential mentor teachers for you. Ramon,
Okay, that's great, Roger. And I would like to attack it from a geographic point of view. I would like the candidates to start looking first within the specific area. For example, where they live or where they work. Specifically, maybe look at the first 5, and then later on enlarge it to the next 10 or even 20 miles. And the reason for that is when you look for an internship, you need to be able to fulfill the schedule of the schools or the colleges that you're applying to. So it should be convenient for you to get there, especially for many of you that are currently holding a job. You have to make sure that it is something that is reachable to you within maybe the next 30 minutes, simply because most of you will be holding a job and then going to an internship class, and you don't want to make it inconvenient for you. That's the most basic thing, is to look for something which is within your area, at least a hitting area where it's about at least 30 minutes within where you work or where you live. When you find that college, look specifically now for what Rodger says. Is that area where you would like to teach in, look at the catalog, look at the schedule, and then see if something there is in your area of expertise. Okay. So I would attack it that way. That's how I would look for an internship or internship mentor.
also, we can provide you with, we maintain a database. I'm not sure how up to date it is, but we maintain a database of all the colleges and individuals where we've placed student teaching interns. So we can provide you with some advanced information in that area.
Okay. And there's another question. Can the mentor for the internship have a different discipline from the student and still be the student's mentor? Do they have to be in the same category?
I don't know if that's possible, because you're expected to teach in the area that your mentor is going to be teaching. So he can also make judgments on your content as well as your teaching ability.
Okay. Is there a template for recommendation letters? And can the recommendation letters be from the person that you want to use as your mentor? That's a good question.
That may not be possible, because even before you get the letter of, before you even get the internship, you need to present a letter of recommendation. Now, traditionally, we used to always look for a letter of recommendation only from former faculty, former teacher, but I'm open to also getting a letter of recommendation from a superior, supervisor, manager, somebody that knows exactly what your work ethic is. So not only is it just for education, but also we can also accept letter of recommendations from an employer.
Okay. Asanam asks, could our recommendations for the internship be written by the teachers of the 2 courses we take before the internship? Or do you mean outside recommendations from people who have seen us teach before?
Go ahead, Rodger.
Yes, the short answer is yes. Ramon and I will both provide letters of recommendation. Understand there's a complete package, an application package for the internship program that Ramon will review. And all of this information and these forms will be provided to you electronically so that you can complete them and then submit them back to Mr. Baltazar for acceptance into the internship program.
Okay, and another question from Husna says, do we need that letter of recommendation to be from professors who have taught us in graduate school?
They can be, but they don't necessarily have to be. The requirement is 2 letters of recommendation. And when you submit them, your application will be reviewed and Mr. Baltazar will let you know if they're acceptable or if he needs a different letter of recommendation.
Okay. Does the experience have to be at community college level, or is the teaching experience, having teaching experience at early age or school age, K through 12, is that also comparable or sufficient as a starting point?
Maybe I need to qualify that. When you mean teaching experience, you mean the internship that we're requiring you?
I
If it
think
is
they're, I think they're referring to any prior teaching experience that they may have, bringing that into the program as an admission or a starting point. Is that enough to qualify?
Again, any teaching experience makes you a better teacher, but the minimum qualifications also for this program is that you should have or in the process of completing your master's degree. So if you are in the K to 12, I'm pretty almost certain that you have already your master's degree in education somewhere. So that's almost a given that while you're teaching in K to 12, I'm assuming that you have some master's degree in early childhood education or some higher level of master's degree.
Okay. Rodger, did you want to clarify?
Yeah, well, let me just say, if you have classroom teaching experience, regardless of the levels, that makes you a better qualified candidate
Absolutely.
at the community college campus level when you're interacting with your mentor teacher. And it also makes you a well-qualified candidate for a paid teaching position later on down the road. University level teaching, community college teaching, of course, is fantastic. K-12 teaching, classroom teaching experience, you understand lesson plans, you understand lecturing, you understand interacting with the students, you understand discipline problems. So all of that experience really enhances your qualifications.
Okay.
And something to clarify on this, because sometimes this is a point that Dr. Scolar always tells me. When you are looking for an internship, it must be for a community college. So some people will often ask, well, can I be an intern for a private college? For the purposes of our program here, your internship must be in a community college.
Good to have that that detail. And speaking of once they are going into the internship, there's a few questions regarding this. Are the teaching internships normally paid or unpaid? And are the part-time community college instructors employees of the college or independent consultants? So this speaks to the employment process.
All right. Rodger, would you like to address that?
Okay, yeah, and you can follow up then. The internship, the teaching internship, you are a graduate student, a student teacher. It is not paid. It is unpaid. It is part of the academic program here at Dominguez Hills. There may be some programs like in the LA district called Project Match, where the student teacher is paid and the mentor teacher is paid, but that is unique, that is proprietary to the LA district. All teaching interns must be viewed as a semester-long job interview. This is where you've got your foot in the door, you're networking within the college, you're going to committee meetings as a student teacher, perhaps even with your mentor teacher, and you're demonstrating your professionalism. The idea is that they get to know you and they like you, and the whole point of the program is to get you a teaching position paid as an employee of the district later on down the road. Anissa, what was the second part of that question?
Oh, I can answer that.
Go ahead.
Anissa, the second question was pertaining to if you are an adjunct or a part-time teacher in a community college, are you a independent contractor? Okay, let's look at the definition first, okay? When you are a adjunct faculty or a part-time faculty over at a community college, you are given a contract every semester for your assignments. Okay. Now, the part where you're probably asking is, can it be issued? Can my paycheck be issued to, like, let's say, a corporation or something like that? No, usually it is to an individual. So you are indeed a independent contractor with the community college. But here's the but. You are also part of a union. You're going to be part of AFT 1521, I think we are, right, Rodger?
Yeah.
So you are part of a union. You are going to be offered also health benefits. You are going to be offered also benefits like a retirement program and all sorts of things. So depending, again, okay, let me qualify. Depending on how large your community college district is, they can afford to give you a very robust set of benefits. If it's a very small community college district, they may not be able to offer you anything except your contract pay. That's it.
Okay. I know that we're getting close to the top of the hour, but we do have still quite a few more questions. So for those who are attending live in our session, feel free to stay on for just a little bit more. We'll try to get through these really quickly. The next question that we have is, if you are, let's see, if you are trying to go through like cold calls and no one is really taking those bites for your interest in teaching at that program. Let's say you've contacted quite a few mentor teachers and no one responds. How does that student get assistance from our program? How do we go about assisting them to make sure that they're trying to make those connections and get them into play?
Rodger, would you like to-
Yeah. You know, the demand for instructors in certain topics is ebbs and flows, kind of like the tide. Sometimes there's a big demand, they can't fill all the sections. You'll get an internship, or we've had interns right away get a job offer without even having to go through the whole internship process. And sometimes it's a waiting game. You may not get the internship, you may not get a job offer right away. So it's good to be patient. If you get a lot of rejection letters, then my suggestion is, after having your teaching resume reviewed by me, take your resume, go to the campus that you would like to teach, find the office of the instructor that you want to be your mentor teacher, look at their office hours and meet them during their office hours and just say something like the following: "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm a graduate student at Cal State Dominguez Hills. I'm looking for a teaching internship position. It's not paid. I would be your student teacher. I will help you in class. I'm basically your assistant for a semester. Here's my teaching resume. You can contact Dr. McGinness. You can contact Mr. Baltazar for verification. If you can use me, please, I've got my contact information here on the resume. Please contact me in the future. Thank you very much." And that's all you need to say. Now, the person's going to be really busy and they're not going to want to deal with it right away, but you never know. You have planted a seed, and later on, another semester down the road, you'd never know what's going to happen. I have hired as a dean. I used to be a dean for a long time, 15 years. I have hired individuals that did this whole process, just like I explained it to you a couple years before. So you never know when you might get a job and your employee number with a community college.
Absolutely. Otto asks a question: given some of us will be working during the teaching internship, is there any insight into how many hours a week the internship will demand?
Rodger, I'll take that over. It is probably in most cases a 3-hour class that you're going to be interning, whether it's split up between 2 sessions of 1.5 and 1.5, but it will demand about 3 hours a week from you. But again, it is between you and your mentor teacher on how you want to split that up, or if he wants you there full time, et cetera, et cetera. Let me just add something, maybe to the last question. Here's a technique. Every professor will probably, especially in a face-to-face class, why don't you sit in on the first class of the professor? This is normally when you're given the syllabus and blah, blah, blah. And you're like any other new student coming into class. After the class is over, say, hey, professor, great lecture. By the way, if you need any help, okay? The very important part is that you get exposure to the person that you're trying to be a mentor for. You know, and accessibility in a class, whether you're just sitting in on a class or listening in on him, you need to make yourself accessible. Okay, that's it.
Okay. We have another question. How can you obtain a recommendation from previous educational faculty if you have been out of school for 10 or more years?
10 years is kind of the cutoff. We like things a little more recent. If you go through this program, the faculty in the program, Mr. Baltazar, myself, stand ready to provide a letter of recommendation for you based on your performance academically and also in the teaching demonstrations that we conduct within the class. So, and those are verifiable within the program. So that would solve your problem.
Okay. Coletta asks, must the evaluation of foreign diplomas be done before applying for this course?
Yeah, it's crucial that you know the equivalency to a U.S. degree so that you can identify the MQ areas that you're qualified to teach in. Right, Ramon? You have a little experience with this.
Correct. There are agencies that do that for you, but it's very important that you do it this early enough when you're applying for our program, because when you do get your okay to start as an intern or even a paid faculty, adjunct faculty, part-time faculty, they will be asking you that anyway. Did you get your transcript evaluated? Because you have a foreign transcript. You might as well do it now rather than later when you're actually already, the professor, your mentor says, you know what, you're ready. Let's give you one course next semester. And then you find out, oh my gosh, I haven't had my transcript evaluated yet.
Okay.
So we can provide a list of approved evaluation organizations. So let Mr. Baltazar know. He can send you or myself, we can send you the list of the organizations that'll do this. There's always a cost because there are people involved and they need to be paid. But these are official transcripts that result from the evaluation.
Okay. We have a question from Christian who asks, what are the advantages of this program versus Project Match or any other kinds of certificate style programs in terms of the benefits to the student?
Go ahead, Ramon.
Well, Match program, if I remember correctly, okay, you are in a 10-week summer-long session with about 50 candidates. One thing I know is they have a high fallout rate. They're going to probably place less than 10% of those people into a class in the following semester. The other addition, at least to our advantage at Cal State, is I think we have a more robust program. We will give you basically in my course, I will give you a background and my experience of how it is to be working in a community college. And it will be very extensive. It will be very extensive. Not only is it homework, but also my experience of what I think, you need to know to be able to navigate this system.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Why I really like our program is because with our internship, it gives you a foot in the door kind of approach. We get you working you're going to pick your own school, your own mentor, but it gives you a foot in the door where you have the ability to have visibility already. Dr. McGinness alludes to a semester-long interview. It is more than just an interview. I want you to start volunteering. I want you to make yourself visible in committees, because that's how you get the position. Okay. Many of these positions, especially in committees, turn into job teaching positions during the regular semester.
Absolutely. We have one final question from Julia, who asks, would it be beneficial to look into the community college where we attended?
Certainly. You already probably have a knowledge of their system. You have a knowledge of their faculty. You know, one of the things I like is to tell you my own experience. I like hiring people I train myself. And if you already know of a teacher in your own college that knows your background, it is really an advantage.
Absolutely. Well, I want to take a moment to thank both of our instructors. I'm going to put their information up on the next setup. So here you go. You can please get in touch with Dr. McGinness or Professor Baltazar if you have any follow-up questions regarding admissions, regarding the course content, or the internship process. So once again, a huge thank you to both of them. And we look forward to working with you guys in the upcoming term. So at this point, we've covered a great deal of information regarding the programs. But just in case we've missed anything, please feel free to email or call us during our business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at learn@csudh.edu or 310-243-2075. When you're ready to take those next steps to register, our registration office will be standing by to take your registrations via phone at 310-243-3741, and you're going to click on option 1. But remember, if you've recently been a student at CSUDH, you can simply log into My CSUDH portal to register for your courses online. So this concludes our Community College Teaching Certificate Program information session, and we want to thank everybody for joining us today. Again, feel free to connect with us via our website, our social media on our Facebook and LinkedIn group. Remember to register early to get your spot in your preferred classes. We'd love to get your feedback about today's session as well. So please let us know how we can improve the quality of the information that's provided by visiting bit.ly/CSUDH-webinar-feedback. And for those live attendees, that link will appear in your web browser at the close of this session, as well as in your follow-up email. Now, we'll stay in the session for just a few minutes more to give everyone a moment to jot down last-minute notes and download the Community College Teaching Certificate Information Kit from the chat panel. The recording for this session will be online shortly on our website and on our YouTube channel as well. When you're ready to leave today's session, simply click the red Leave button in the corner of your screen. Once again, thank you for joining us today. Stay safe, and we look forward to working with you soon. Take care, everybody.